Today we're talking about the cost of living in the Dominican Republic. More specifically, we're talking about our costs as a two-person household living in Santo Domingo Este. Obviously, this is something that can vary greatly. This might not be comparable to what you and your experience would be, but I thought I'd share just to give a point of reference. I made this same exact video nearly 2 years ago, but things have changed a lot since then. Back then, I was living in a shared apartment with other teachers. I didn't pay rent or utilities or anything like that, and I was just accounting for the cost of one person. And now, obviously, I'll account for the costs of two people, and I will include rent and utilities because now we pay that. Since we've been living here for just about a year now, I took the average over that course of time to get each of these amounts that I will share. On some certain amounts that are variable, I will share the highs and the lows so that you can get a better point of reference. We tend to live pretty frugally, and essentially we can pay for all of our expenses just on one of our incomes. The way I organize these categories is from the most basic ones, the ones you probably need to live, to ones that will definitely vary depending on the person. This time I didn't include things like packages or eating out because both of those have just been significantly less than what I spent when I was living alone. So it wasn't really that easy to get a monthly average. And I didn't include things like online purchases because I feel like that's just not specific to the Dominican Republic experience. The 12 categories that we will be talking about today are rent, electricity, running water, drinking water, groceries, gas, internet, cellular data, public transportation, Uber, gym, and the barber. This time I didn't include eating out because I could probably count on both hands the number of times we've either ordered something here or gone out to eat. It's simply just not as convenient as it was when I lived in Amorosa. There's a lot more options there. They were much faster delivery times, and here it takes like an hour. There's fewer options. And one time, the food didn't even get delivered. I don't know what happened. The Uber guy stole it or something, and we had to order it again. Thankfully, we got refunded. Anyways, just not worth it. Let's begin with number one. The first expense is rent. We pay 15,000 pesos for rent, which is about $255. And if you watched my apartment tour video, you might notice that I said $275 there, which is just one example of the variability in the conversion rate. We have a 3-bedroom apartment, 1 bathroom, and it's definitely enough space for us as a couple of two. Obviously, rent can vary a lot. You can pay prices that will probably be equivalent to the US. If you're looking to live, especially in Santo Domingo Norte, Piantini, Naco, those will be much more expensive, probably into the thousands. And some places can even be like dirt cheap and less than ours. Moving on to category number 2, this is the electric bill. This expense can vary a lot. Back in about March or April, we were paying as low as 602 pesos, which is equal to $10.17. But then over the summer, using our air conditioning, our single air conditioner, it bumped up all the way to 4,320 pesos, which is roughly $72.97. Over the course of a year, it averages out to about 1,825 pesos or $31.02. The things that we have constantly plugged in are the fridge, the Wi-Fi, and like a clock charger thing, as well as the AC, but the AC is not running constantly. And in fact, for probably at least the past month or so, we haven't used the air conditioning feature of it. We've just used it as a fan. Now our electricity bill has been back down to around 700. And everything else we just plug in as needed, phone chargers, laptop chargers, blender, washing machine, electric piano, electric stove, which we use to cook beans once or twice a month, hair dryer, and yeah, I think that's about it. Moving on to expense number 3, running water. We actually don't pay for running water. It's included in our rent, but they do put the bills downstairs. They have paper bills that they stuff in the door, and I've looked at it once or twice. This month we happened to see it, and it was 249 pesos for the running water, so that's not a huge expense. That's roughly equivalent to $4.23. Number 4 is drinking water. So if you're unfamiliar with the way we do it here, basically we have the big botellones, the big bottles of water that we order from a colmado, like a local shop, and they deliver it. So paying for 2 of those plus the delivery guy, we pay about 230 pesos each time, and we order it probably on average 3 times a month. So that comes out to about 690 pesos or $11.70 a month. Number 5 is groceries, which is another one that is variable. The average that we spend on groceries is 14,740 pesos, which is about $249. We go grocery shopping at Bravo probably 99.9% of the time. There might have been a couple stops we made, maybe at Jumbo if we were at the mall, or at Olay. It's close to my husband's work. But besides that, it's always at Bravo. To give you a high and a low, the lowest amount we spent in a month was 10,387 pesos, which is equal to about $174.78. And the highest we spent on groceries is 18,203 pesos, which is around $307.46. That was the month of November, when I did spend a little bit more to make a nice sort of Thanksgiving dinner. You can check out that video right here. It was fun to do, but it did cost a little bit extra since turkey's a little bit more expensive and some of the products were imported. But it was nice for a treat. Our sixth expense is gas, and I'm not talking about for the car. My husband is asking me, how do Americans tell it apart? Because we use gas for the car and then we use gas for the stove. But yeah, we just tell it apart. So I'm talking about gas for the stove. For at least the second half of the year, or a little bit more than that, we have been able to refill it just once a month, and it costs about 700 pesos or $12. So for purposes of the monthly total, I average it out, and it came out to around 371 pesos per month, which is $6.27. Internet, our Wi-Fi is a fixed price. We pay 1,262 pesos per month, which is around $21.33. Our internet speed is around 40 megabytes. Number 8, cellular data. This is not something that is a fixed price. So in the US, I know most of us are pretty used to having a plan that we pay for every month. But here, my husband and I both have prepaid SIM cards, which basically means we just pay for it as we need it. And since we have Wi-Fi in the house, and since we don't really go many other places, we don't need to buy internet that much. Perhaps we will just buy 1 gigabyte for the day if we're out and need to order an Uber back. Usually this is when we're at church and my husband will just buy 1 gig on his phone, recharge it with 50 pesos, and order the Uber. For me, the main times when I've bought internet is when the power has gone out and I've tried to use the hotspot to do my lessons. On average, we probably spend around 270 pesos or $4.56 per month for 2 people. Number 9 is public transportation. Now, one note, this doesn't include Ubers. I'll put that as number 10. I work from home and I don't really go anywhere, especially in public transportation. So this is just what my husband spends to get to work. Now, if it seems low to you, it's because he purposely chose this apartment because it is close to where he works. That's only 1 car that he takes for maybe 5 to 10 minutes to get there. His company provides transportation back home after a certain time. Well, I think it's legally required to do that. So he doesn't pay for the way back. It's just the way there. He pays 35 pesos, which is about 60 cents to get to work. So that comes out to 770 pesos or $13 a month. Number 10, as I mentioned, is the Ubers. This is what we use to go to church or to go visit his family, which is usually in the same trip. His family lives near the church, so we just do it all in one day. We'll also use Uber for the extraneous errands, like going to get the gas, or perhaps trips to the airport, going out for something, or yeah, don't really use it that much besides that. But the gym and the grocery store, they're both walking distance, so we're not using it for regular errands. And in this category, we spend around 4,015 pesos per month, which comes out to $67.82. Our 11th category is the gym. We go to SmartFit gym. It's pretty popular here. Everywhere there's a Bravo supermarket, there's also a SmartFit. So that's what we use. And the cost for the most basic plan, there's only 2 plans, is 1,190 pesos. So $20.10 for 1 person. So that comes out to 2,380 pesos, which is $40.20 per month for the 2 of us. We both go 3 to 5 times a week, and it's an important part of life for us, so it's definitely worth it. And there is one more fee. I don't know if it's yearly or if it was just the first time, but there is like a 2,000 peso or $33.78 fee that we paid 3 months in, each of us, but that's only once a year. And our last category, number 12, is going to the barber. I didn't mention salon or anything because I got my own hair. I don't get my nails done anymore. So we're just going to talk about the barber. Hopefully, if you're a man, this can help you. My husband goes every other week, which averages out to about 400 pesos a month or $6.83. But one note about the salons, if I did get my nails done here, it was always more affordable than in the US. I was definitely never spending anywhere close to like $50 or $60, $70 on nails. Definitely closer to 20. So there they are. Those are the categories for today, and I'll put them right here from highest to lowest. As you can see, rent is the highest. There have been some months, obviously, when groceries did surpass rent, but for the most part, for the averages, rent and then groceries. And the lowest would be the water, which we don't even pay. And then cellular data, which also we rarely use. The total that we spend in 1 month besides the running water, because we don't actually pay for that, it's included in the rent, as I mentioned, and it's also a negligible amount, is 41,724 pesos in a month, or $706.73. So as I mentioned, that definitely fits in one of our incomes. Although it's more expensive than when I was living alone, we are still affording everything perfectly fine. Hopefully this was helpful for someone if you are interested or looking into researching a move to the Dominican Republic. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. If you're interested in our apartment tour, I will link that right here so you can check that out. Besides that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!